Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, the history of land-grant colleges in this country is an interesting one. I mean, back then, the Morrill Acts in the 19th century that gave rise. I mean, a lot of it was to move colleges from just teaching the classes to practical skill instruction in agriculture, science, engineering. It was also to make college more accessible to more families, so you didn't have to be wealthy to attend college, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that's why this little look-see that we did at prairiestatewire.com, which is one of my outlets, prairiestatewire.com, we looked at the number of F1 visa students at Illinois' public colleges and universities. So foreign students who are attending Illinois public colleges and universities. It turns out to be a fairly big number. And this is, by the way, not a discussion like, oh, we shouldn't have foreign students, we shouldn't have F1B visas. And that's not the issue. The issue is the percentage. The issue is, are we seeing a crowding out effect at places that are in high demand for middle-income families to send their kids, even higher-income families to send their kids, like U of I, where you can't get in because U of I is focused on F1 visa students, number one, paying full freight.
Well, that's how they make their money, right? I mean,
they actually get a good portion of their money from the state, right? I mean, the state provides twice the per pupil support of the national average to our public colleges and universities, significantly higher than the state support for conference peers in, let's say, the Big Ten or the MAC, for that matter, the MVC. I mean, so just let's go through the numbers a little bit. University of Illinois at Springfield, so
okay,
U of I system,
right.
34% of its total student enrollment are international students.
That's a lot.
U of I, 27%. And then it goes down significantly from there. Chicago State, 13%. U of I at Chicago, 12%. Governor State, 11%. SIU, 10%. Eastern, 9%. Northern, 9%. Western, 7%. And so on. Overall in the state, there are 25,114 international students out of 189,000 and change that are enrolled. So that's about 13.2%. But at our flagship, our flagship public university is U of I.
Right.
And 27% in Champaign, UIS Springfield, 34%, and UIC, 12%. Do you have a problem with that at all? When Peyton and Eli, if they decide to go to U of I or want to go to U of I, and, you potentially get crowded out by, I don't want to make this like, one foreign student versus one Illinois family, but remember the mission of the land-grant university, and remember who's paying the freight for U of I, significant portion of the freight, well beyond the tuition that you're going to pay for any child in any given 4-year period. I don't care where you're from. Should that provide some prioritization for Illinois families? Isn't that why we have Illinois colleges and universities, to provide some prioritization for those that, meet the academic standards, but are not being crowded out by students from around the world? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And it's worth noting, Illinois is right there with New Jersey in leading the nation in outmigration of college-bound high school seniors. So we're losing our best and brightest.
I got to tell you, I recently emceed an event with high school seniors, and they told me no one's going to U of I. That's not the cool school to go to. And they cater to foreigners anyway. That's what one student said to me. And I was like, okay. She said, why? They don't care about us even. They just want to, they care about people from other countries. So it's very strange. And I don't know a lot of people who are still, because normally at this time of year, people tell you, what schools they've applied for, and not one mention of U of I, which, and they've produced wonderful people. Steve Chin invented the Instagram.
Yeah, okay.
The YouTube.
Okay, old lady. Uh,
But I'm saying, I mean, they've had very established and accomplished alumni from U of I, but it's not the cool place to go, which is
I mean, did you apply to U of I?
no, no.
No chance to get in. Is that why?
Um, the ink and the pen ran out. When
Yeah,
I was
sure.
during my application process.
Couldn't
and
afford the application fee because you were, a poor mom
Let's
prospecting.
just say I kept it real, and I went to University of Iowa,
Open enrollment school. Exactly, University of Iowa. And
Michigan State, what else? ASU,
Uh-huh.
which is the Harvard of the West. I mean,
there's no
really.
quite, there's Harvard of the Sun Belt. Let's not go west. Sun Belt. Yeah. Okay, Phil Mickelson. So here's the thing. It's interesting because of the number of kids that are going to Big Ten schools not named U of I. Now, that can be a choice in part, whatever. It's more fun to be in Madison or
Right.
there's
U of I, the campus is too spread out, and their
there's
sports teams stink.
Yeah, and there's a lot of competition too. Indiana has a really good business school, for example. But U of I is still a top engineering school in the country.
Yep.
U of I still provides a pretty good college education. I mean, to the extent that anybody provides a pretty good college education these days that, aren't named Hillsdale or University of Dallas or something.
And it's still impressive on your resume, I think, to say you graduated from University of Illinois.
Well, and the other thing too, remember, part of college is networking. So it's not just networking among your students, but it's networking among alumni. A lot of U of I alumni in Chicago and in the Midwest, but particularly in Chicago. So in terms of making business connections and that networking, that's a real thing. So is it problematic that such a percentage of the student body are foreign students? Now I don't know. I don't have a magic number on what the percentage should or shouldn't be. I'm just want to have the discussion because who's paying, what the original mission is, and who is otherwise deriving the benefit, right? Harry in Hawthorne Woods, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I put 3 kids through school, all out of state. One Clemson, one University of Kentucky, the other University of South Carolina, and one's in med school, University of South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible for kids to, well, it's not impossible, but even with her academic prowess, her 3.85 from Clemson and relatively high MCAT score, couldn't even get in a med school in Illinois. And thank goodness, because she got in a better school in the University of South Carolina. But if you're, it's because they're taking all these foreign grads. Everybody's from China or India and there's no preference given to Illinois residents here. And unlike many other states, which do give preference to residents
for
a lot of things.
Yeah, that's right.
Illinois is bass backwards on just about everything you can think of.
Mm-hmm. So, thanks for the call, Harry. Appreciate it. I mean, the thing is, you want it to be a meritocracy. You want our colleges and universities to attract the best and brightest from around the world. You want the best and the brightest from around the world to continue to come to America, which has always been our history. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to make this like about immigration or about the others or anything like that. That's not what this discussion is. The discussion is, should there be a prioritization for people that are paying the freight for a lifetime of residency in Illinois? All else being equal kind of thing. That's the question. And remembering the mission of land-grant universities, which the federal government provided the land for states to be able to, advance the creation of these colleges and universities. Annette in New Lenox.
Good morning.
Morning.
My daughter goes to the University of Alabama. She was the salutatorian at Lincoln Way West. She had a 35 on her ACT.
Wow.
She would not have gotten a dime from any Illinois school. We did not even let her apply. There were 9 kids from her graduating class that went to Alabama because they all get zero tuition, full tuition, anything over a 32 at Alabama. And Alabama is a right-to-work state. Their business there is increasing. Mercedes is expanding their plant there because they're bringing in top students.
Just tell her to stay away from Roy Moore. No, I'm sorry, Annette.
And sorry about the
Annette,
loss
thanks for the call.
to Auburn.
Appreciate that. Yeah, right. Well, it's interesting, Annette from New Lenox brings that up because I hear more and more about Alabama. and Alabama heavily recruiting in the Midwest
yeah.
to bring
So is Ole Miss.
to bring students SEC schools like that especially Alabama because they've generated so much cash from their football program.
Yeah.
That they can do exactly what Annette said: take these high achieving students and say, "Come to Alabama, and we'll cover the freight." You're going to Alabama like an athlete, but you're a student. But it's
You're a
because of your
rock star academic.
your academic prowess. It's
And other
it's
schools, I mean,
interesting.
Ole Miss too. If you live in Missouri, you can get in-state tuition. If you go to Ole Miss, I mean, there's so many different angles that you could take where you can get in-state tuition at other states.
Yeah, but I mean, but
And
Annette,
dress up for your football game.
But Annette's example is a good one because she had this salutatorian 35 ACT. So this is obviously both.
You didn't even get a 35 on your ACT.
You don't know what I got on my ACT.
Oh my! Oh, yeah. Pipe down there, Missy.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing. I did not get a 35 on my ACT. Now I know that might be hard to process, Dan.
Well,
I didn't.
you did in the sense that when you took it twice and you combined the scores.
Oh no! Thank you.
Yeah.
Too soon.
No, but so why wouldn't U of I be looking for this the girl from New Lenox, 35 ACT salutatorian at Lincoln Way?
Because she's not Asian.
No, I mean I don't want to make it like that, but
No, I know. But,
but
do you
it is-
think that
but
they
it's-
want
it's a
somebody
pro- that's a
talented from their own
problem.
backyard?
that's
And they're gonna trust me. What they're doing, it's gonna their enrollment is gonna go down.
Well, and here's the other thing that Annette didn't get to, but it's consistent with what she said about U of I not offering her daughter any incentive to come there, despite her academic record. Also, despite and because subsidized colleges and universities at twice the per pupil rate that of the national average, in-state tuition for Illinois families to go to places like U of I and the other schools is significantly higher, like 25 to 50% higher than in-state tuition in the Midwest for families in other Midwestern states to go to their conference peers. So compare U of I to Indiana, compare U of I to Iowa or to
Minnesota,
Madison,
yeah.
right? And it's the same thing. And NIU, compare that to other MAC teams. Compare Illinois State to other MVC teams, schools, teams. You know what I'm saying. Ralph and Rantoul.
Hey, good morning. I was an undergrad at Purdue, got my chemical engineering degree from there, and we had plenty of foreign students, Asian students. And I remember even as an undergrad, you just kick butt. You kick the Asian students' butts, and then a half an hour later, you're hungry for more winning. But on a more serious
Okay, Donald.
On a more serious note, like I teach now as an adjunct. I brought that up a couple times before, and I think there's a different kind of Asian student coming in now. They're the B team students because they really want to get into the prestigious universities in their own countries, except if it's Harvard, Yale kind of name, if they're just branded institutions. But more seriously, if our kids graduating high school now can't compete with the rest of the world's B team, we got problems, people.
Yeah, no question about that. No question about that. Thanks for the call, Ralph. And that's part of the discussion too. The percentage of students that are going on to college, which is 1 in 3, rough numbers, and who need remediation. Talk to community college presidents, talk to university presidents, and they will tell you it's a significant percentage of students that require remediation. In other words, the ones going to college and they're not prepared to do college level work because of what happened at the K through 12 level. Carol in Paxton.
Hi, my comment is I live about 30 miles north of Champaign. They want the foreign students because they pay full rate scholarship or full rate tuition.
Right.
And don't listen to any sob stories coming out of Champaign about how they're short on money. They are awash in money, and you can tell by the various administrative salaries and
no question about that. Yeah, thanks for the call, Carol. No question about that, and we've published the numbers there too. Absolutely. Bob in Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
You too.
You kind of addressed my question a few callers back with regards to the tuition. It's now, I think, over $100,000 for in-state tuition. So I know a lot of people are looking out of state.
Yeah,
But they just can't afford it. How can you afford $100,000 for a 4-year degree at an in-state school?
Thanks for the call, Bob. John and Mike in Downers Grove.
Hi, Dan and Amy. I'm an Illinois grad. My wife's an Illinois grad. Both our parents are Illinois grads. We're related to a former U of I president. Both my kids went out of state. Despite the fact my son did qualify for a free ride in Illinois, you can get better deals if you're a quality student and shop elsewhere. Okay, so in other words, and you can get a better deal with grant money if you're good and you want to go to private schools, if your goal is not coming out of school with a whole bunch of money and getting a quality degree.
Whole bunch of debt.
Where did your son end up going?
My son went to Princeton for undergrad and MIT for a PhD. My daughter went to DePaul with
I don't mean to brag, but yeah.
Huh?
Where did your others?
MIT, and then where'd your daughter go?
Hey, I'm a moron. I went to U of I, I mean, it's not Iowa, but,
Skipped a generation. Yeah.
Where did your daughter go? DePaul, did you say?
DePaul.
with a W in Greencastle.
Oh,
Indiana.
Greencastle, DePaul. Okay.
Oh, and then where'd she go to get her PhD in nuclear physics?
She's more of a normal bright kid, so she's working. Oh, and now they're both currently working in Chicago, though. As much as I tried to tell them to stay the hell out of here.
Well,
maybe they want to spend time with their parents, huh?
Well, yeah, who wouldn't?
Exactly.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. There was no deal at U of I, so my kid went to Princeton and MIT instead. Oh my gosh!
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.